other hostages. And he was surprised. What? He was, my friend, he described all these things that he was seeing outside the window. He asked the nurse, why did he do that? There's nothing there. He told me he just made it all up. The nurse said, that meant he was blind. He couldn't see a thing. He didn't even know what was outside the window. So that's the moral of the story. She said, probably he did it just to make him happy. He was making the other one happy just by, making out these sceneries which he didn't see. And by making him happy, he felt a little more happy. So it works, actually. Anyone who has tried to do something for others, think this starts, of course, thinking about others, thinking of Krishna, that is the start, that is also the end, of course. We have to stop just always thinking about ourselves. That is, actually, as soon as you become obsessed with the idea that I want to enjoy, I want to be happy, then your misery starts. What should we think? How to make Krishna happy, how to make Krishna enjoy. And how is Krishna enjoying the most? When his servants are happy. And everyone is Krishna's servant. Everyone is a servant of Krishna, but they have forgotten. Therefore they are suffering. But we can make them happy by just reminding them that you are a servant of Krishna. Give up this sense gratification. Take to the real happy life of devotional service. That is actually the only way that we can help others, make others happy. And by taking up that service, actually thinking of the welfare of others, then there's nothing more pleasing to Krishna. When Krishna is pleased, then we become pleased. It is a sure fact. Anyone who has tried to preach, they will agree with me that there's nothing sweeter than bringing a conditioned soul in contact with Krishna. Seeing them, see their eyes light up, and they hear about the absolute truth, and they understand that there is a solution. This world is full of problems. It is nothing but problems, but there is a solution. Everybody is looking for solutions, but there are no solutions on the material path. Only this is the solution. And just hearing that, just gives new hope to the conditioned soul. Not to speak of when we can demonstrate how by serving Krishna we become happy. So anyway, Parikshit Maharaj, he was a great Vaishnava who was full of compassion for the suffering living entities, and therefore, after hearing this description, he wanted to know from Sukadeva Goswami, please, you tell me, what can be done for these poor, suffering, sinful living entities? Hare Krishna. Any questions? Oscar, you must have a question.
I had one, but
You're too shy to ask.
no, I kind of, but it was something with this compassion for other people.
Mm.
Because sometimes there's also, in my mind, I think, okay, this person, they should actually suffer so they can come to the right conclusion with it.
That is also there,
But it's not the wrong, it's kind of the wrong way to like talk to people.
yes, okay, in that if you have that understanding that the suffering is to teach them, then you can also, in a mood of a well-wisher, be, I don't know if I should say happy, but that they are suffering, but it's a little tricky because the tendency is to be happy when we see all the suffering anyway. That is the material tendency. So we should develop this mood of well-wisher first. Then maybe we can also understand the greater picture of the suffering is also for their good. It's a complicated affair, but the essence is to develop this mood of compassion. So many questions. You're not satisfied with the answer.
Yeah, but actually, I remember the question was that first also when you understand that you have something positive to give to them, like they can understand in another way other than suffering, then you can actually relate to people properly, or like that you actually have something positive to give. So how do you develop that understanding also?
That there is something positive to give.
To give to them, or something that they can actually use?
Well, you have to have the positive realization of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the first step is we must be properly situated in the process of sadhana bhakti, which is the source of so much happiness. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has one song, Subhavakata Charana Renu Bhajana Kura Akata Seva Paramasiti Premanati Karamu. The song describes, it's just a whole song about how much happiness is there in the process of devotional service and practice, sadhana bhakti. And it's a fact, if we actually take it seriously, if we actually give ourselves to this process seriously, we find how much happiness is there. There's immediately relief from the suffering conditions of material existence. Then we can give it to others. You cannot give something which you don't have. If you are not Krishna conscious, how will you give Krishna to others? So that is the first thing we have to, some people they talk about preaching, but if you look at their, practice, they are not practicing themselves, so what can they preach? What can they give to others? Somebody who never comes to the temple, who chants their rounds, who knows when, who knows how, what can they give? The first thing is we must be strict with ourselves, take to this process of sadhana bhakti very seriously, then we will have something to give. And we can share that happiness which we feel with others. Yes, Krishna Priya has something to say.
No, I just remember that when I was burned, then I was in a room with one other person, and that person only had no, actually that person had scalded herself with water, and I just remember that when she was turning in her bed, my whole when you are trying to be burned yourself, then you get a great insight in other people's physical beings. And so later on, I met a person on the street who had just burnt the hand a little bit, but still, I felt so deeply inside that pain. So sometimes the material world is a kind of also mercy, because when we feel these pains, then we also, by experience, then if we take it in a good way, and as Krishna's mercy, then we get a more insight into people's sufferings, and then you don't see their sufferings as different from your own, and then you definitely want to relieve, even on a physical level.
For those of you who don't know, Krishna had a very serious accident years back. He got severe burns on the last part of the body. There was a fire and an explosion in the kitchen, in the place we had to work. So, yes, good point. Therefore it's also said, Darita Rasha, Guna Rasha, how is it? Dosha, Guna Rashi, Rasha, something. People who are, for example, Nalakumar and Manikri, that they were very, playboys in this day. So enjoying life and becoming insensitive to, just becoming very, very callous to the suffering of others, and very, very degraded also. So seeing that Narada Muni, he cursed them to become trees in the courtyard of Nandamana, and his logic was that if one is too enjoying too much, has too much money, one becomes, or tends to become hard-hearted towards the suffering of others. So therefore in this way, yes, we can see it as mercy when Krishna makes us suffer, just to make us humble, to make us understand that it is no fun to be a conditioned soul. We have both these experiences. We have the experience of suffering ourselves. We know what it means to suffer. We can feel some empathy for those who are in a similar condition. But then we can also give them hope, because we have seen how through Krishna consciousness we can actually gain relief. As a way out, as a solution. So this is actually a great blessing to be in that position. Those of us who have been around for some years, we've gone through many things in our struggle to become Krishna conscious, and sometimes we think, why is it so difficult? But it's a great blessing to have these experiences we can share with others who may be just standing on the bottom of the hill and looking up. I'm supposed to cross over that mountain. How am I going to do it? If you are a little further up, or you're on the other side of the mountain, you say, just from here. It may look, impossible, but you can do it. I did it. So this is the way to do. This is something, it's a great blessing to be able to do that. But it didn't come for free. It's the reward for our struggle to serve Krishna through all ups and downs. Okay. Anything else? Andrew?
You mentioned.
One last question.
I should not ask
At the
questions.
very last moment? Okay.
Yes. Well, it's only if you want. I was thinking. Usually we go to 1:45, but if you want to stop earlier, of course, that's.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm here just I'm your servant. If it's okay with whoever is the manager, you can ask. Or as far as I'm concerned, we can sit here all day. But I think somebody will object. But one question.
Yes. It's not really a question. It's more like a request. You mentioned that the happiness of connecting a conditioned soul with Krishna, the happiness of seeing their eyes light up. I was interested in that. I was wondering if maybe you could tell some story or something from when you did that.
So many stories. They may have to wait for the memory to come back, but countless experiences like that. Somehow. I mean, I don't have to think very far, just on the way to Gopal's parents. We drove up. We came just back from France. We went to France for an adventure there. It was an adventure. Many interesting things happened. So, but anyway, on the way back, we stopped over in Radhagat. We drove up to Skanderborg. And on the way, in Hamburg, we picked up two hitchhikers, two young boys like yourself. One was 22, the other was 24, from Holland. And we were dressed in dhotis. They knew what they were. I mean, they didn't know much about Hare Krishna, but they knew, I mean, they could see that we were monks of a sort. So, but of course, when you're a hitchhiker, you don't start asking questions. If you can get a lift, you take it. So we gave them a lift. We drove them up to where the road split because we were going north, they wanted to go to Cook. So anyway, naturally, we talk a little. Who are you? What is this? What kind of monks are you? And what is your philosophy? So, we just explained them. We didn't try to brainwash them and shave them or bring them to the temple. So explain them, some basic things. One of them noticed that you seem to be very peaceful, so I said yes, and I explained them that Krishna's peace formula for love. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, the supreme proprietor, and the best friend. And then when you understand this, you become peaceful. And he said, one of them, that sounds nice. Just little things like that. And at the end, before we parted, they wanted to have a photo with all of, this is of course very exciting. You get to travel with some monks, some shaven-headed, saffron-clad monks. And they wanted to have a photo. You may say small things, but that's an example. I believe somehow, I imagine that this, made a difference in just this journey with us. Just that they got some, just the nutshell of our philosophy and the nutshell got to hear them like that. Unfortunately, we didn't have any prasadam to give them. Unfortunately, we didn't have any books to. But at least something was there. I could see they were alive, isn't it?
Yeah.
They seem to, at least I imagine that I could see that they felt enlightened by the experience. So like that. So many, every day. Just put on a door. If you don't know what to do, sometimes we become very speculative. How can we preach? It doesn't have to be very complicated. Oh, I'm too afraid to go and up down the street and approach some stranger. Yeah, okay. Preaching you have to be bold if you're too shy, but even just put on a dhoti and show yourself in public, and that's also. I think it doesn't have to be more complicated. And just even if we start become accustomed to that, and if we, as we say in Danish, bite the head off all shame in the whole, and do it, then people will come to us. They will approach us on the street. Oh, what kind of monk are you? Or they will, they will say Hare Krishna.
He went to the Tour de France with high level.
That's another.
Everybody was looking.
Tour de France was passing just through the village next to you. Just a coincidence. It wasn't planned at all. I knew of course Tour de France was going on. But, it's the Ikayensk, it's a village just 5 kilometers away from the Michael, many devotees. And it just so happened that on the 12th of July, Tour de France was passing through. So we thought, yes, let's go and have a Haina. One of the devotees said, no, it's a very bad idea. He would be very disturbed. It was very nice. It was just Mother Gopal and me. We went there, standing on the side of the street, and of course everybody, all people from the village and from the neighborhood, they were out there to see. And of course they all saw us. There was nobody who was, and there were no negative words. People, when we appeared on the scene for a few minutes, they forgot all about Tour de France. Who are these guys? Of course some of them knew, but, because it's right next to New Manipur. The devotees have not been very visible there for many years. So many of them, they were surprised looking at us. So anyway, it was nice. They were very nice preaching. So we could go on and on. This experience. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.